Hello.
Hey Jake,
What's up, Josh?
we wanted to follow up on where we ended our conversation last week. We were talking about outside guards, and then we kind of started getting into seated guard a little bit. So yeah, just wanted to pick up where we left off and hear your recent thoughts on seated guard.
Yeah. I guess let's start off by asking you what your current strategy is from seated open guard, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think for a little while, seated guard, I was messing around with wrestling up a little bit, coming up on singles. And I think still lately, I haven't been emphasizing that as much, but it's still there. Like when we play a lot of the games, we'll do some wrestle up games. And basically, I like to like collar tie and harass the head a lot. And then as they back up, try to come up on a single,
Mm.
especially if they're diving in trying to pass. Maybe I can like almost snap them down in a way to front headlock or come up to wrestle up. And besides that, I kind of just like fall back and accept being on supervising guard, and then have been messing with some of that outside guard stuff lately, and De La Hiva spinning to the back, or maybe K guard. And actually, lately I've hit this couple like reverse De La Hiva spinning inside with the scoop grip to get to the back. I haven't been able to finish. I think last time I got there, I was so surprised I got there that the guy just like ran away. But yeah, cedar guard's not very strong, basically.
Gotcha. And then when you fall to supine, are you ending up basically with like no connections, or do you tend to end up in reverse de la hiva, or like where do you tend to end up?
I think for reverse De La Hiva is most of the time where I end up, and then I try to recover, quote unquote, from there to De La Hiva or to K
Mhm.
guard or something like that. Um, and yeah.
Got it.
Ooh.
Um,
Actually, I will say the other day I visited a friend at a gym. It was the first time rolling with him, and every time I stepped in, he just had like the best shin on shin, like elbow deep, and it was so annoying. Like I could not. I would just get off. I would just get off balance all the time. So I've been thinking about that a little more, but just haven't been implementing it too much.
gotcha. Um, okay. So, basically, let me just explain like the way I've tried to design the way I think around how I'm playing seated guard. And then we can go from there based on the questions you have. But so if we're playing on our left hip here, like our left hands on the mat, we're playing on our left hip. If they step across with their left leg to our left leg, this is when we end up in like reverse De La Hiba type stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and like I talk about here, like I think generally like it's becoming more popular to play things like Keymaster where you have both your feet on the outside. So now you get to determine which hip you play on it as opposed to being pinned on one hip. So kind of the idea around the way I've structured how I want to play seated open guard was if I get forced supine, I'm going to end up in like De La Hiva or something like this. Um, where both my feet can be on the outside if I want them to be. And I don't want my seated open guard to fail in a way that pins me on one hip. So this was kind of like the risk management aspect of how I wanted to play seated open guard. And basically what I think this comes down to is there should be consequences if we're playing on our left hip and they want to step their left leg up. There should be consequences for them to do that. Because if they want to step their left leg up, that's what would force us into reverse De La Hiba. If they step their right leg in between our legs and they force us supine, now we go into De La Hiba where we have both our feet on the outside. So basically, the way I was thinking about it is I've been trying to play on my left hip. And if I'm playing on my left hip, it's okay if they force a supine as long as they do so with their right leg. It's not acceptable for them to force a supine if they do it with their left leg, because that's probably going to lead to half guard reverse de la Hiva type situations. So basically, what I think, well, let's see if we could find the clip of me talking about it here. Here we go. Okay. So if we're on our left hip and they have their right leg forward, so our lead feet are kind of far away from one another. If we try and do these inside reach wrestle ups, it's going to lead to like a high crotch type situation where our head's on the outside. So as we do it, you see your head's probably going to be on the outside, and you're not able to like switch your knees to get to like a head on the inside type single leg. But from the other stance where they're leading with their left foot, Now, when we use these inside reaches, now we can bring our knee behind their knee and switch our knees, and now we can come up into these head inside single legs. So the way I've been thinking about it is if I'm wrestling up from this type of stance and I'm connecting to this leg, I'm probably kind of like half-heartedly wrestling up just to like get to a leg entanglement or something like this. Like I'll grab the leg, but then like sit real quick or something like that. But if we're wrestling up from a stance where their lead foot is, so in this situation, they'd be leading with their left leg. Um, then I'm trying to finish a single leg. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So the idea is when we're grip fighting from here, like if they come out and they lead with their left foot and we're leading with our right foot, this is like, I'm going to wrestle up type of stance. Um, and the good thing about it is I can, because my hand on the side of my foot is like the primary hand I'm going to be grip fighting with, you can generally figure out a way to tie up their hand that's going to be blocking their leg. And then you can attack it effectively and wrestle up. So the whole idea behind the way I've been playing seated open guard was if they're leading with this foot, great. Um, I'm going to probably wrestle up. And I'm going to try and tie this hand up so I can clear their defenses before I do so. If they're leading with their other leg, I'm trying to create some sort of incentive for them to bring this leg forward so then I can wrestle up. And if they don't do that and they try and step forward with their right leg to put us supine, it's okay. We ended up supine with a De La Hiva type connection where both our feet are on the outside and we should be able to have like effective attacks from there. So that's kind of like the basis behind it without going through my 23-minute video here. Um, but yeah, that's I'll stop there.
Gotcha. So this Wrestle Up exclusive video, that's on the Outlier database. That's the only way to access it, or
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of debating on whether I should just post it on my YouTube channel or not, but yeah, we'll see.
okay. For now, it's on there. We will.
Yeah.
I'll link it in the description for those on the database who can take a look at it. Um, oh yeah, that's okay. This makes a lot of sense. A couple thoughts. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm like, we have like a right hand and a left hand, like a dominant leg as well. I always step in with my right leg
Mhm.
and then try to pass to my left, I guess.
Yep.
Do you find that most people, that's the situation?
Yeah, I think most people lead right leg forward.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
And then, so yeah, it was interesting you saying that you want to incentivize them then to take a step with their left and then you can wrestle up. I like that if they take a step with their left, you can wrestle up on you as a guard player on your right side with the head on the inside. Because yes, on the other side, that's where I try to wrestle up. I get caught in like front headlock or like some kind of guillotine or something like that a lot of times, or just like, get sprawled on, which may
Mhm.
be just a whole nother problem getting sprawled on. But yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I don't. How do you like to incentivize people to step forward with their left?
Yeah, so, yeah, I guess we are just gonna hash out this basically 'cause it's a video, but, let's see if I could find the exact moments. Um, so, like, one way to do it is to give, like, a pull on their hand that's on the side of their trail leg, right?
Oh
So, it
yeah.
would be like, you take some sort of grip and pull, right?
Mm.
And kind of the way I've been thinking about this is, uh, I want to leave man, where am I at? I wanna leave this hand on the mat for as long as possible, and I think the benefit of leaving it on the mat is you can move more easily and it gives you some base when they try and push your shoulders back. If you have both your hands off the mat, this benefit is it makes you more offensive because now you can go for an inside reach. You can go for 2-on-1 grips. You can use both your hands to attack. So the benefit is that, but in order to do that, you have to bring your shoulders in front of your hips. So now if they push you back, your posture keeps you upright instead of just falling to your back. And they have more access to your head because your shoulders are coming forward. So now they're snapping you down, things like this. So I think it's very aggressive to take both your hands off the mat to grip fight. Um, and because of that, I try and leave this hand on the mat for as long as I can. And then when I'm ready to take it off the mat, my shoulders come forward, and then we're immediately going into some sort of attack. So the grip fighting sequence that I found to be the most common that I've used is when they're leading with their right foot and I'm on my right or left hip and I want to bring this leg towards me. I take some sort of initial grip here. This would be like an advantageous grip, but like you can also use like an interlock grip or whatever that's more neutral. And once you get some sort of grip, now your shoulders come forward and now you can go into something like an arm drag. And then once you pull, I think like this type of thing, I've seen more like wrestle ups off of arm drags. You want to make sure you stay outside their elbows, right? And if your arm drag grip lets go to go for that inside reach, I think it's going to be easier for them to flare their arm out to stop you. So I think off of arm drags, this hand tends to stay, and the one that's on the wrist goes, and it's an outside reach wrestle up.
Mhm.
But it leads to the same movement where your head goes to the inside. So one way to incentivize them to step that leg up is by giving some sort of pull. And if like I think I show it here, where like if I have both my hands off the mat and I'm grip fighting with both hands, then I can go into these like 2-on-1 elbow type grips because the initial wrist grip comes from my hand that was on the floor. But since I'm trying to leave that hand on the floor for as long as possible, I think the initial straight grip is, or the initial wrist grip is a straight grip on the wrist. So to get the best pull, I've found that these arm drag grips tend to work best. And with the arm drag, it tends to lead to like an outside reach wrestle up as opposed to an inside reach wrestle up. So I'll stop there, but that's one way to incentivize them to step forward with their back leg. Um, and then we'll go into the second one after you have any follow up questions.
No, no, that's super cool. I realize I've only been trying to wrestle up on my left side. And I just never like got them to step forward on the other side. So that's just another cool idea to try out. I think I'll try it tonight. Actually, I've been wanting to work on guard more. So
Cool. Okay, so then the next way, which I found to be much more effective, honestly, than this grip fighting sequence, is with this hand on the mat, we can like lift our hips up and we circle away from our hand like this.
mhm.
So that forces them to circle in this direction, which makes it pretty hard for them, I think, to lead with their left leg to like go to our right hip. Does that make sense? Like if they
Yeah.
wanted to force us um, into reverse De La Hiva on like by stepping this leg across to our right hip, it's like basically extremely hard, right?
Mhm.
So their options are now to bring this foot into this leg down here, our left leg, which would force us down into De La Hiva. Or they can try and take a big cross step with this back leg to try and like cut an angle quickly.
Mm.
So that's kind of the way we use movement, I think, is we tie up this hand and now we're trying to use movement. So you use movement to get them to circle. Hurry up.
Mhm.
And then you hope they take this cross step, which brings their far leg now close to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then as soon as that leg comes close, I'm immediately taking my hand off the mat and using that inside reach to wrestle up. So ideally, I think I'm saying like ideally we tie up that hand and then we're using this. And as soon as that leg steps towards us, now we go for that inside reach to wrestle up. But this has been my like bread and butter is use movement. And the whole time you're using movement, you're trying to tie up their hand. And as soon as that leg comes towards you, you're wrestling up. And if that leg doesn't come towards you, they're probably stepping in with their other leg to force you to De La Hiva. And you can attack from De La Hiva.
Gotcha. Wow, that is super interesting. Man, it reminds me of as the passer, as the top player attacking seated guard, you can try to get them supine directly by like pushing into them, lifting up their foot, pushing on their shoulders, or you can cut an angle and threaten the angle, and then they have to concede and give you supine, or else you just like circle to the back. So it's almost like the guard version where you can either directly attack their arm, pull them in to make their back leg the lead leg. Now you come up on a single, or you can circle and they have to react, and then they just give you their leg anyway. Um, man, it's two really cool ideas to just force them to step their left leg forward and have a nice inside single.
Yeah. I think that's a very good comparison. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Um, and then I guess just to tie a bow on this, the last thing, like from De La Hiva, what I've been thinking about is if we can troll their hand from open guard, it does two things, right? It removes their defensive hand so we can attack that leg, which we've talked about with wrestling up. But the other thing it does is if they end up forcing us supine, it doesn't allow them to control our right leg in this scenario. So we can use our right leg to do whatever we want. And we can bring it to the inside, we can bring it to the outside, or we can use it to start to like immediately go on the attack. So what I've seen is as soon as he steps in to go De La Hiva, I'm controlling this wrist and he has no ability to stop my right leg. So if I tried to bring my left leg up, he could stop it. But if I now I can put my right leg wherever I want is what I'm saying. And what I've
Mhm.
seen is people bring it right to the hip like this, and then off balance the uh, the top player. So I got this from Paige.
Oh, cool. Page. Yeah.
Yeah. See if this is the one. Yeah. Okay. So look, she's playing on her right hip. So she's going to be looking to grip fight with this hand. She grip fights with this hand. The top player steps in to De La Hiva. She grabs the ankle, but her foot on this side immediately goes to the hip and off balances the top player. So yeah, it's like tie up their hand and then we're circling. And if they step in with one leg, we're wrestling up. And if they step in with the other leg, we're using our foot to help us off balance them. That's free. And this honestly has been very, very helpful for me.
Dang, that's sick. Man, that makes so much sense because there's so many times where I'm caught in or like stuck in reverse De La Hiva, and then I'm trying to get free my bottom leg to come up for a low leg or a keymaster or whatever, but then their hand just keeps stuffing it back in. And
Right.
so the way you're describing it is like, man, don't even wait till you're stuck there to fight that hand. Preemptively capture
Exactly.
that hand, and then you can go into De La Hiva and your leg's free to do whatever the heck it wants on that side. So I like that.
Right. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah. Without getting shoot down the rabbit hole. Yeah. I exactly like preemptively win the battle. And then it is just such a good like risk management tool. Like you can do whatever you need to do with your leg once they force you to your back. If you preemptively win that battle.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Man, I'm sure if I go back to the episode we put out a couple weeks ago on hand fighting from guard, like I wonder if like these themes are pretty similar, but I don't know why it seemingly makes it became more clear to me today. Maybe because of playing a little more of that K guard stuff. But yeah, if you use your right hand and attach their hand on this side, you can easily put your right leg into that K guard position or vice versa on the left side. So this makes me really excited to play attacking both sides instead of just doing one thing to one side.
Yeah. Got this idea from Mateusz Szyczynski. Um, see if I can find it real quick.
Dang, this is making me excited because from a passing position, I feel like I always pass to one side, but now from guard, I'm starting to attack both sides, and I think your hand fighting tips here is like a really good first thing to do to determine which side to attack.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's
no,
helpful.
it's super cool.
Okay, so this is what like sparked my idea with this is Mateus wasn't really able to get anything going against PJ. PJ's leg lock defense is ridiculous. But just the ideas, he tried to do this like 12 times in the match. So it was like pretty clear what he's trying to do. Where he starts on his left hip and he initially ties up the hand on this side. And Mateus likes to attack K guard on the left leg of his opponents. So ultimately, he wants to attack this leg. So he first ties up this hand. And then he goes from being on his right hip or his left hip to being square to the mat. And then his foot goes to the mat on this side. So he switches hips, and because he tied up this leg, he's already trying to enter K guard on the left leg. It like frees up his like low leg to get there, you know.
Yeah,
And again, PJ shuts it down, but you can see the idea. Like you start on one hip because if you're on your left hip, your right hand's going to be your grip fighting hand. So you could tie up that hand, and now you're trying to figure out a way to attack their leg on that same side hand that you just tied up. And
yeah,
Mateus did it by switching hips and trying to pull guard into that leg to attack it. But what I found is I've tried to just go like wrestle up on that leg as my attack. And if they step in with their other leg, this is when I'm going like De La Hiva K guard type stuff. So now I'm trying to practice more K guard stuff on their right leg. So
Yeah.
my left leg is the K guard leg because that's probably where I'm going to be entering into it more often than not.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember we talked about this. Was it last week? Which leg do you favor attacking K
Yeah.
guard on again? Or which leg of yours do you like to use for your K guard?
So initially, I was studying Mateus a lot for the entries. This is like why I was studying Mateus for it. So I was trying to enter on the left leg a bunch, and I was getting comfortable entering in on the left leg. But then, like Lachlan and Lucas are always attacking the right leg with K guard, and so like a lot of the finishing stuff, I was like attacking the right leg. So like it seemed like my finishes were better on the right leg, but then my entries were better on the left leg. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on making that a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. I think my K guard, I was using my left leg to attack their right leg most of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, because I think I don't know why. Maybe it's because I use that one for daily heave or whatever. But man, only in the last couple weeks after watching Lucas's instructional have I been using my right leg as the K guard to attack their left leg.
Right.
And it felt so weird at first, but then it also felt cool to attack the other side, where normally all my attacks are on one side. So I feel like this is a very exciting point in the jujitsu journey of like opening up the attacks from guard instead of just spamming one side or just getting stuck with reverse daily.
Right.
So it's man, this is a really cool episode today of just that straight grip on either side, opening up whether you attack K on that side or wrestle up on that side.
Exactly.
So it's pretty cool.
Um, this is an example of Lucas. Again, Lucas, I think, prefers to attack the right leg. And it could be that Chris is leading with his right leg, which is
Mm,
why Lucas attacks it. But I do think it's a trend that he tends to favor the right leg. But again, he gets the, like, Chris has a straight grip on him from standing. And then Lucas sits to enter K guard from standing, but it's the
wow.
same idea. Yeah.
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 What a great concept, man. Is like you keep their hand busy there on that side and their leg is open to either cross grip to wrestle up or shoot your ankle up to their hip and go straight into K guard. Man, that is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just to kind of like tie a bow on it, I guess, like the biggest, I think, aspect for me being more comfortable with my guard is just trying to limit their ability to pin me in like half guard or reverse De La Hiva. Like, at least the way I've been trying to play it is like when things go wrong, I end up in a guard that I'm very comfortable with and I get to like dictate where we play. Um, Whereas I felt like I would get into like too deep of a hole when it would be like the guard pass or my seated guard failed and they're already like pretty deep on a knee cut and I'm like trying to frame away and this type of thing. I think just minimizing the downside gives you a lot more confidence in um, playing the seated open guard.
Yeah. And when you're seated, this is also a great distinction you mentioned of like uh, when is it better to go supine versus like not good to go supine? Because from a passer's perspective, I really like when the guys supine. I think I like want them to be supine, but it is much better to have them supine when they're in a reverse De La Hiva, and you can basically pin them on one hip versus all the other ones where they have so many options. So yeah, this is all making a lot more sense now. The guard players. Sorry, I'm kind of just talking to myself here, but
Mhm.
the guard players trying to like increase their uh, potential for movement and mobility, and then so obviously the passer is trying to pin them as much as possible. So
Right.
technically, even if you pin them on a hip, but they're still in guard and you haven't scored, the passer has still progressed quite a bit, which is a very gray area of
Mhm.
jujitsu. That's so
It's
weird.
subtle. Yeah.
Dude, that's so subtle because you can not score, but have their hips pinned the whole time, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with the hips, like I think this is why like inside camping um tends to be like where you're like splitting their legs. So like from headquarters, you don't see people inside camping when like the butterfly hook is like on the outside. Like you have to stuff the foot to the inside and then you can inside camp because it's hard for them to switch from one hip to another. And same thing from like a split squat. Like as soon as they low leg to like get to the keymaster, you're not inside camping anymore. because they can use like that movement to retain their guard, So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a subtle but very important like aspect of like the overall theme of jujitsu is like control that leads to submission, and just pinning them on one hip when you're passing is like you're progressing towards that control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, man, it's weird that a handful of episodes ago we were talking about like the dilemma of half guard and how people just are happy to. I think Andres calls it. It's like there's always negotiations in jiu-jitsu, and we're happy to like settle in half guard
Hmm.
from top and bottom. But I'm starting to think it's probably a little worse for the bottom player,
I think so too.
even though a lot of us we just accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having the knee shield helps a ton though for the bottom
Yeah,
player,
for
right?
sure.
So it's like, damn, it's like, where in
Yeah.
that negotiation are we really?
Yeah. But I do think I wasn't thinking a lot about the idea of being able to switch hips as a guard player, and the fact that you can't from half guard gives, I think, the top player the like control advantage.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, super cool. Uh, this trend of like controlling, being able to switch hips from guard versus being stuck, is this pretty new or has this been around for a while? Did this
I
come
think
out
it's
of the outside guard stuff?
I think it's probably been around for a while in the gi, but as more gi people are coming to no gi, it's becoming more popular to play these types of guards. I
Yeah,
think where mostly I think people were happy playing half guard or reverse de hiba and no gi. Um, Now people are kind of like not accepting those positions as much as the guard player.
yeah,
Um, and I don't think you see as many like false reaps and stuff like this from gi like oriented competitors. It's more of like K guard, key master type of stuff.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it like permeates more through the space, but it's definitely something I'm thinking a lot about these days when I'm trying to like design game plans from guard to
mhm,
minimize downside.
yeah, yeah. Super cool. So would you say the old, I mean, not, maybe not even that old, but the predominant trend no-gi guard from half guard was underhook, wrestle up, or like deep half type of reversals? Like what was like the main thing people like to do from guard?
I probably from half guard, the main thing is get some sort of like upper body connection and then pummeling your butterfly hook and then attack their legs, or like get a scoop grip on their far leg and spin around their leg to attack it. Or get a scoop grip on their far leg and enter into outside ashi. Um, I think these types of attacks tended to be like the predominant ones for the past probably like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool that this is the first I think this is the first time in our recent discussions where I'm feeling like I'm getting to explore like a new-ish
Mm.
trend on the podcast. Because before I think I was just like, "What is jujitsu?" Like I'm catching up, and I think we talked the other day at dinner where it must have been so cool when leg locks were being popularized on the scene, and you guys got to be like the cutting edge of learning all the new stuff and heel hooking everyone in the gym just because you knew something that no one knew. So this is a lesser version of that, I guess, but it's pretty exciting to talk about and to mess with.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
excited to hear how it goes once you try and implement it. But
yeah.
yeah, maybe watch the actual video of me talking through it in a more cohesive manner. Um, but that'll probably help more.
Cool.
Um, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll link that in the description. And then I think that Mateus and PJ match could be good to link as well,
Mm.
especially because he tries that move so many times. It could be cool
Yeah.
for people to check out.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Cool, cool. Thanks, Jake.
All right. Later, Josh.
See ya.